I'm child-free, not because I hate children, but because I don't want to live the life of a parent. I love slow mornings, deep conversations, spontaneous trips, and the freedom to explore myself in the world. Parenting, on the other hand, looks like a life of endless work, chores, exhaustion, sacrifice. No compensation, no breaks, and if you dare to take care of yourself, you're selfish. It's not mothers or children I take issue with, but what society turns motherhood into. It looks brutal. That's like becoming an astronaut just to hang a NASA badge on the wall. If you don't like the journey, why take the trip? I don't, so I won't.
Yes, more child-free content. So about that, I, in my heart, would love to talk about my choice to be child-free, but it's a tricky topic because I'm very empathetic. I can understand everyone's decision to live their life differently. I can understand that. But not everyone else can understand that, you see, because there's not really a safe space as somebody like me who has made the decision as a woman who is married to not have kids. And when I talk about that on the internet, it is received wrongly. Like, it's just received in a way where people just project their own opinion on it. And so I'm just gonna say one PSA, because I would love to share more about that side of my life, because there really isn't a community for people who, especially women in our society, to not have kids and to not be judged for it. And so I would like to be able to talk about it more. The unfortunate thing though is a lot of times, anytime somebody brings up a reason why they're not having kids or their decision to not have kids, it is met with pushback of this like, well, I love my kids. I love being a mom. I love my life. Good for you. That is great. But one PSA that I will say, and then I will never speak on it again, because then I will just move forward with my truth of why I decided to not have kids. But me talking about my choice to not have children is not a personal attack on anyone else's choice to be a mother or a parent. Anybody talking about not wanting kids or not having kids is not a personal attack on you for having kids. But it seems to be always met with this narrative of me posting something like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you guys do this every day. I am so grateful I don't have that lifestyle. That's not me going, oh my God, you guys should like really reconsider what you're doing here. I'm just saying I wouldn't personally want that. Does that mean that you should be miserable or hate that? You might love that aspect of parenting, but that's your choice, right? So I would love to be able to openly share about my choice to be child-free. But my choice to be child-free is not an attack on motherhood. And for those who actually know me, when you see me around kids, you know in an instant that I'm great with them. I am amazing with kids. And you know why? Part of that is because I'm not around them all the time, and I can give and give and give when I'm around them. And then I can go home and take a nap with my dog. And that's what I want to do with my life. And if everyone else wants to pop out all their babies and live their beautiful lives, and for those who really struggle and want nothing more than a child and can't, I feel for them. But me not wanting kids doesn't take away from any of that. It does not take away from any of that. And so I just wish we could all have a little bit more of an open mind when it comes to women speaking about their choice to not have kids. Because just like parents choose to do it, they also have the right to say it's really fucking hard. Because that is the reality too. So think about it the next time you go to comment about how much you love being a mom on somebody's post about how they could never imagine doing that. Perspective goes a long way of just being like, wow, that's the life that they want to live. I'm grateful for mine, and I'm grateful they've made their own decision too. So that being said, I celebrate motherhood. I celebrate parenthood. The fact that I even have to fucking say that is so just like, but I'm grateful for the life I've chosen that works for me, and I'm grateful for everyone else making their own decisions for their life accordingly. But that shouldn't mean that I'm not allowed to talk about my experience when everyone else is allowed to talk about their experience just because it's the opposite. We need to hold space for everyone and allow people to just live their lives. That's it. So yes, more child-free content will be coming, but I just had to put it out there so that I could just get it out there, say what I need to say, and just move on with my happy little life. Take care of yourself, however you see fit. I love you.
This narrative that entitled parents who don't parent have been pushing about like the world not liking children or society hates children is completely untrue to me. And this is coming from a mom and somebody who actually worked in customer service for a really long time. I never had an issue with the kids. I always had an issue with the parents. And I see it all the time. Like, you parents don't want to parent your child. You parents are super entitled. You're entitled. Your kid doesn't need to be at every wedding. Your kid doesn't always have to be at every restaurant. There's some spaces where children are not welcome, and that's okay. But instead of accepting that, you push your children into those spaces and onto people because you feel like they need to be there. You're entitled. You're entitled about it. When you decided to become a parent, that was your choice, not everyone else's. And you need to learn how to accept that the world doesn't revolve around your child. And that's okay. Instead of respecting that, you just push the boundaries and you literally make it everyone else's problem that you're a parent and that you have a child. That's no one else's problem but your own. And a child isn't a problem, but they become a problem when you force them into spaces that they're not meant to be. Or when you push boundaries with people who are saying they don't want kids there. Or when you're literally going to restaurants that are not even child-friendly restaurants. They don't have kids menus. And then letting your kid run around, getting asked to leave, and then coming on the TikTok and crying about it. When you know that they didn't even have high chairs. Google is free. Like, not everything is a kid's space. And not everyone wants your kid in their face. Like, and I'm okay with that as a mom. I understand that. I knew that when I had my daughter. I was like, my life is going to change. And I'm okay with that. I don't push my daughter onto everyone. I don't force my daughter into spaces that are not meant for her. And I don't sit here and come and bitch about it to everyone else.
Why is it that every time I tell a man I don't want no kids, they be like, oh, why? Are you bearing the child? Are you putting your body through hell for the child? Are you sacrificing your hair? I've seen mothers lose their teeth. Okay? The postpartum hair loss, that everybody's body don't snap back. The mental, the fuck? Because I said I don't want to have none. It's one thing when the moms, say, like, another mother is like, oh, why? Babies are a blessing. Ah! And then it be the men who be like, I want a big family. That's too fast, mamas.
Message is for child-free people, whether you're child-free by choice or child-free just because that's how life worked out. I just want to reassure you that as a mum of 3 kids, who I chose, by the way, it was like deliberate and on purpose, you literally never get away from the stupid little comments about having another baby. Like, you have one baby and it was horrifically traumatic and you can barely walk straight for months and everyone's immediately like, oh, when are you going to have another one? And then you have another baby and everyone's like, oh, well, you've had 2 boys. Have you thought about trying for a girl? And then you do actually have a 3rd baby and you don't care about the gender because you're a grown-up that realises that, like, the gender of your child isn't as important as, like, who they are. And you do happen to have a girl because that's just how it works sometimes. And then everyone's still, I'm 40 years old, I've got kids who are 8, 6 and 3. I've legitimately, absolutely got my hands full, and people still make stupid little jokes about having another baby. It never fucking stops. Now, I appreciate that I don't get the whole, oh, well, your life isn't a life if you haven't had children and what you're going to do when you're old and all of that bollocks that people like to say to people who are child-free. But I do get plenty of jokes about things that were actually deeply traumatic for me. I had 2 horrific deliveries that have left me with a lot of medical trauma, and then my 3rd pregnancy had a whole other set of medical trauma attached to it. So, people make these jokes like, oh, just have another baby, when for me, legitimately, getting pregnant again is one of the worst things that I can imagine for myself. So yeah, I'm sorry that society only sees value if you've procreated, but I would just like to reassure you that even when you've done it 3 times, it's still not enough.
The current administration having an issue with the declining birth rate in this country and offering $5,000 to women, mind you, a one-time payment of $5,000 to women to pop out kids, or like for them to pop out kids as an incentive, is evil. And I happily will contribute to the declining birth rate in this country. As women that are child-free by choice, or even like teetering between like wanting to become a mother or not wanting to become a mother, this is your time to stay like strong in your decision to not have a child anytime soon. What this means for you guys, not me, because I got my tubes removed, so I can't have kids and I don't want to. But what this means for you guys that are like teetering is that the government eventually will hopefully offer you more. Okay, don't accept the $5,000 right now. Stand your ground. Maybe in a couple months they'll offer up 10. Maybe they'll actually get smart and realize that we don't want just cash. We want policy change, free and accessible health care, federally mandated maternal and paternal leave, maybe paid maternal and paternal leave, gun regulation, so your kids are safe when they go to school. Because honestly, $5,000 is a slap to the freaking face, okay? Not that I know how much childcare costs and how much it costs to birth a child, but I know damn well $5,000 is a fucking drop in the bucket compared to what you are going to spend when you decide to bring a child onto this planet. So stand your ground. Don't become persuaded by a literal drop in the fucking bucket. If $5,000 is all it takes to motivate you to pop out a kid, you maybe shouldn't be the one to pop out a kid anytime soon. And I don't know if that's a hot take or not. Sorry if it is. Actually, no, I'm not.
So I've talked on here before about some of the reasons that I don't think motherhood is for me. But another one that randomly occurred to me over the past week is the fact that I know I am not capable of being a single parent. Yes, I'm getting married and I am confident that my spouse would be a very active father. But I just know that God forbid something were to happen to him or we were to separate or get a divorce, there is no way that I would be able to be a single parent. And when considering parenting, that is something that you must think about. I think a lot of people, especially women, fall into this idea of having the big happy family and everything's great. But even if your big happy family falls apart, those kids are still going to be there. And that's another point where the whole child rearing thing starts to lose me. I do not have the interest, nor I don't think do I have the emotional capacity to parent on my own. So therefore, I'd be doing a huge disservice to my child and myself by putting myself in that situation. Just another thing to add to the list.
I decided I wasn't going to have children when I was 17, and I just want to talk about it. I will never forget the exact moment of sitting in a little office in my high school doing my distance education studies of Australian politics, because they didn't offer it at my high school and it was year 12, and learning about climate change really properly for the first time from an article, might have been an essay or a speech from Bob Brown. And that was the moment that I decided I would never bring someone else into this world. I'm very much not against adoption and fostering, but not creating another carbon footprint. And the more I learned about climate change and ecological impact over the next 20 years, has only imprinted that more and more and more for me. And I absolutely no longer live the lowest carbon footprint life. I definitely did most of my 20s and early 30s, but it's probably not as bad as most people. And I do make, I'm conscious about it. So maybe you go and look at the car that I drive. It's a petrol car. It uses a lot of petrol, but I have justified that to myself because I'm not duplicating my carbon footprint, and I don't really do any air travel and all these other different little things. So there's never an unconscious moment. It's always method in my madness. And I have no real feelings about other people having kids, apart from maybe just being a little bit worried that they don't have a full understanding of the situation that they're bringing someone into. On a really on an international kind of long-term perspective. So I love being child-free. I also honestly, I have physical stuff with it. The concept of someone else being inside my body, the concept of my body creating food for someone else makes me genuinely feel incredibly nauseous and uncomfortable. And I genuinely don't think I could physically go through with it. I probably would have a mental breakdown, I think. And so there's many reasons, but the core initial reason was that. And I cop it all the time from people. Oh, one day you'll change your mind. Oh, no. And my partner, as soon as he met me, I told him that, like, that ain't happening with me. In my 20s, I told my dad, that ain't happening with me. Like, you're going to have 4-legged granddaughters and that's it. And, even like had conversations with my partner of like, if at some point you decide that that is something that you need to do, I absolutely would not have any issues with us moving on and him finding someone to do that with. I would never hold him back. I would never try to convince him otherwise. I would be completely happy and fine with that because it's not going to happen here. And I just see so much information about this online, and so many people have so many opinions. And I saw a little take yesterday saying that the women who are very outraged by child-free women are likely the women who maybe didn't make that decision consciously in their own lives, or didn't realize that they had the option to not make it consciously. And obviously I'm in Australia, so our contraception issues is very different from other places in the world. We have a lot of great privilege and access here. And I just want to second that, because I've been like online and, sharing myself for like, 8 years or something. And the only hate I really get is from white women with 3+ little kids who are very, very offended by the independent and free and untethered lifestyle. I'm tethered to my dogs, but, untethered lifestyle that I have, and my ability to build this business and all of those kind of things. But that's why I'm child-free, and no one convinced me otherwise. If you want to, go ahead and waste your time and energy. If you need to do that, go ahead. I won't actually read it, so yeah.
Time I see y'all bitches come on here, talk about y'all ain't got no kids. Is that your choice, or bitch you infertile?
So I have known since I was a child that I did not want to have kids. So when I turned 20, I started looking for doctors to get a sterilization process. Got told no for years. Doctors kept denying me. Doctors kept saying I was too young. I was going to regret it. What if my husband wanted kids? He doesn't. Well, what if this husband dies and your next husband wants kids? So I'm like, okay, so this hypothetical maybe man, husband has more say over my own body than I do. Like, crazy time, right? But after years and years and years of searching, I finally found a doctor who was willing to sterilize me. And I got the process when I was 25 years old and no kids. Because believe it or not, there are women out here that just simply do not want to have kids. And the way that some of you parents are reacting to the 21 and no kids trend, it's honestly very telling, because a secure, happy parent that is happy having kids, that is happy being a parent, would not feel threatened by a happy child-free person. Me being happy and me choosing to not have kids has zero impact on you whatsoever. My decision to get sterilized does not prevent you from getting pregnant. My decision to not have children does not mean that I'm shaming you for having a child. If you're very happy with your decision, if you love being a parent, you love being a mother, that's so great. I love that for you, bestie. Be the best parent you can be, live the best life you can live, raise the best little human being that you possibly can. And I'm gonna be happy just being the child-free auntie.
One of the best decisions I've ever made for myself is to be child-free. And I don't care what anybody says, or if they're gonna come at me in the comments saying I'm selfish and I only care about myself. Because people have kids for very selfish reasons. People will have kids to take care of them when they're older, to prove to their parents that they could be a better parent. I literally throw up thinking about that. Literally, my own mother told me, when I told her the shit she did to me growing up, she was like, just have your own kids and do a better job. Excuse me? Just like, so disgusting. And second of all, I don't need validation from a child. That I'm a good person, that I have worth, that I have purpose, because I can find all that within myself. When you look for that from a child, you will inevitably traumatize them, put them into a role they did not ask to be in, And essentially, you're making a choice on behalf of someone else that didn't get a say in it. Because you wanted to have joy and bring life into the world because it is so beautiful. What about all the other lives that already exist? The billions of them? But it has to come from you though, right? It has to be your own. Because you're fulfilling a reason within yourself. Anyways, on top of that, I spent a huge chunk, all my fucking childhood, being a therapist for my mom, for people around me, constantly literally abandoning myself because I had to make other people happy. And I'm like, dude, I am not putting off my life anymore. Like, I am not going to be living for someone else. I'm going to be living for myself, and I'm going to be living for the people that are already here and existing in the world that I love, that are my soul family. Like, those are the people that matter to me. I don't need to bring another person in here to be like, I don't have friends, so let me have a fucking kid because they'll love me unconditionally. No. Literally, one of the best decisions I could ever make. Literally one of the best decisions I could ever make. I am so happy with my decision every single day. When I have disposable income, I could do whatever the fuck I want. And I could just be free and explore life. And if I want to hang around kids, I will literally go hang around my friends that have kids. Or my family members that have kids. I'm like, yeah, bro, like, let me take your kid for like a couple hours and let me give it back to you. But it's such a beautiful life. It's so awesome. And for anybody that tells you like, you're gonna regret it, it's like, I'm not regretting it right now. I'm not gonna regret it later because I'm not gonna make someone else my guarantee as to why I need someone like to take care of me when I'm older. I'm gonna figure all that shit out on my own and not put that onto a brand new person that I decided to bring here because I wanted to.
I am 38 years old. I have no children by choice. I also just had microneedling done, so excuse the face. But I had to talk about this because I've been seeing so much more on the subject, and it's kind of the feeling of like, wow, I'm not alone. My husband has kids, so I get the best of like both worlds. I get his stepkids and I get his step grandbabies. Like, they are my children, my grandbabies. I love them so much, even though we're like slightly closer in age, but still they know that they're my children. I'm kidding, but like not. But we made the executive decision when I was probably like 35 years old to not have kids. And I will be honest, he did have a reversal when he was like 28 years old, which should be illegal to me to like get it when you're that young. And we met, and when he was 35, we actually went and got a reversal because we're like, that's what we need to do. That's right. Like he's like, I know you're going to want kids. Like, I don't want you to not have them. Like, and all in all, the reversal did not go through because, fun fact, I didn't realize if it's been longer than 10 years since you've had a reversal, he'd be so happy if I was telling all of you guys this stuff. It's really hard to like, if it's been 10 years since you've had a vasectomy done, it's really hard to reverse it. It has to be like less than 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, it didn't work out. And it wasn't anything crazy. We were just kind of like, okay. And we thought about it. And probably from the ages, I'm 38 now, probably from the ages of like 33 to like 35, maybe. It was really like, oh man, like, should I? But society tells us that's what we need to do. So just know that if you're not sure, think about it. A lot of the people who are child-free out there are like, because they've thought long and hard about it. They've weighed the pros and cons. They've gone back and forth. Like, there's been a lot into it. And then don't get me wrong. There's some people that are like, their life is being a mother, and that is incredible. That's my thing. It is not to each their own, whatever makes you happy. I'm not right. You're not right. Or I'm not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be whatever works for everybody. At this point, I can't imagine having kids, but also I just don't have kids. So I don't know what it would be like, right? People get really upset about that. Like, I feel like there are moms out there that get so upset when people are like child-free, but there are selfish reasons too. Like, I worry, maybe I'm alone on this, but I worry that I would get like really fat and everything would change on my body. And I'm an esthetician. I like taking care of myself with my body. And I know it's a beautiful process and everything, but like that was always a worry in the back of my mind. Like, I'm going to admit that. And then it's just different. Like, we do whatever we want, whenever we want, living my dream life with my dogs. We get up, I do content creation and skincare for a living. So it's like, I ask my husband all the time, I'm like, would this be, for example, like, on a Monday night, would we have to like, wait, I'd have to be doing like schoolwork now and like getting the kids ready for bed. I can't be doing my 16-step 3-hour routine. He was like, no, you wouldn't be able to do that. And it's just mind blowing to me that I'm like, I feel so fulfilled and so happy in life. I do not feel like I'm missing anything. So all in all, if you are out there and you're not sure, just, you got to think long and hard, but you know in your gut. And just remember, we are told as women, like that is what we're supposed to do. That is it. And I feel like you can have your career. You can be, I'm still very traditional in my marriage. Like I take care of my husband. I am the feminine energy. He's the masculine energy. Like we're very traditional in those things. He's the man of the house. I still work. I do all of that because I want to, but so I'm traditional in that aspect. But if you are not sure, just think about it, because as time goes on, the fulfillment that I get and the happiness that I feel that I am not alone on this, there's something about a community like that where it's like, I'm not alone. Other people don't have children too and don't want children too. And I live the best fucking life. I can do whatever I want at all times. And then when we get financially stable, it's even better because then you have the money to do like all these things. So that was just my rant of the day. I'm cleaning. So I have to go continue, give my dogs a bath and do all that. But I've just been seeing a lot of TikToks about it and it makes me really happy that I'm not alone. But listen, if you have children and you love it too, I love that for you. I'm obsessed with some of the creators that are moms. They're such good moms. And I'm like, God, they are like, they're great people. Like, I love it. So no one's wrong, no one's right. It's just the way it is. And I love that we can explain ourselves on here.